Tonight on CFTK-TV News, TC Energy made a major announcement. A major crime unit is investigating a recent death in Thornhill, and the junior all-night basketball tournament is off and running.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. We start with a recent and major announcement that TC Energy has come to what has been described as a binding letter agreement with the Nisga'a First Nation and Western LNG that will see them sell the other two parties all their outstanding shares in Prince Rupert Gas Transmission Holdings. Another part of the agreement will see West LNG and the Nisga'a purchase the limited partnership interest in Prince Rupert Gas Transmission Limited Partnership, which is a TC Energy subsidiary and developer of a natural gas pipeline project in BC. This agreement is a part of TC Energy's plan to ultimately enhance the flexibility of their balance sheet, while also still facilitating the development of critical energy infrastructure. TC Energy will also provide transition services as a way to make sure that the pipeline project is able to transition seamlessly to the other parties in the agreement. Word on the Terrace RCMP's website has revealed that the North District Major Crime Unit has been dispatched in order to investigate a suspicious death in Thornhill. Terrace's police got a report at around 6 in the morning on March 12th that there was a man who was unresponsive at a residence on the 3700 block of Muller Avenue in Thornhill. The first responding officers that arrived at the scene determined that the man inside the residence was deceased. Now the major unit has taken control of the investigation and will be working together with the BC Coroner Service and the Terrace RCMP in order to determine what exactly happened to the man. So far, it's been determined that the death is an isolated incident and will not lead to any other kind of danger to the general public. This week is officially seeing the junior all-native basketball tournament take place at several different places throughout the city of Terrace. This past Sunday saw what was technically the first day of the event, but no games were played. Instead, that day was when the opening ceremonies were held, as well as some meetings for all the coaches to attend. And the action officially got underway for the first time yesterday, and all of the tournament finals will take place on March 22nd. The Nisga'a First Nation are the ones that are hosting this tournament, and for those looking to learn more information about the tourney, like what ticket prices are, who won certain games that you may not have attended, or when games are taking place, and what gym they are being held at, all that can be found at the Nisga'a JANT 2024 website. According to some recent reports, the owners of the Skeena Mall in Terrace, Mosa Properties, seems to be giving the Skeena Valley Senior Society the boot from their space in the building. Namely, they have reportedly told the society that once their lease for the seniors' corner space officially expires at the end of this month, that they want the space back. The society opened the corner only last spring as a multifaceted space where seniors can do things like buy items, get information, or meet others. Part of the given reason the lease won't be renewed is due to Bosa reportedly not being able to afford a needed $250,000 renovation for the space. Another supposed reason for the lease not getting renewed is because Bosa also would not be able to guarantee reimbursement for costs and the collection of market rent if the renovations got finished. But the society should still be able to get help from the mall in terms of finding a new location for the corner if their March lease payment is forgiven. Coming up next, BC's Auditor General recently released a report. Welcome back. Northern Health is scrambling to find doctors to keep emergency departments open, with Prince Rupert particularly hit hard. The mayor of that city is taking it up with the province as nurses worry about safety in hospitals that are stretched thin. CTV's Penny Daflos has that story.
Recruiting efforts in rural and remote communities are coming with increasing perks.
Northern Health offers amazing benefits and incentives like 4 weeks starting vacation.
Despite that, the ER in Masset was closed for 24 hours over the weekend, and Prince Rupert's hospital closed its emergency department multiple times overnight in the past 10 days.
Literally, a person stayed waiting in an ambulance outside the emergency room, waiting for it to open. And the outcomes were very challenging for that family.
The mayor says we are communicating with the provincial government about this issue, one shared with other rural communities. And throughout the north, nurses are raising the alarm.
Currently, the working conditions for many nurses believe it's unsafe. They cannot provide the care that their patients require.
We continue to provide the safest care that we are able to, recognizing that we are seeing higher than normal volumes of patients presenting to the emergency department, as well as the acuity of patients.
Earlier this month, the province announced bonuses of up to $30,000 after 2 years of service in Northern Health.
This is a pretty impressive measure to recruit retention.
The current closures are largely blamed on a doctor shortage over spring break, but for years, frontline workers have been telling CTV News Northern Health is not a desirable place to work, with multiple resignations and high staff turnover, claiming those who raise safety concerns to admin are met with hostility.
Has it been a priority for you to address workplace culture and the working conditions in order to try to retain people and to try to improve Northern Health's reputation?
Oh, most definitely. This is a priority for us. Our goal is to offer continuity of services across our 26 communities.
The province has been spending more and more each year on for-profit staffing agencies to find nurses. The hefty bonuses to avoid that go into effect next month. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
From overdose prevention sites to safe supply of drugs, BC's attempts to stem drug deaths have become a political lightning rod. But now the Auditor General has released a report on how the government is running these programs and what it's doing wrong. CTV's Kevin Chirac reports on why the public may not be getting on board.
Good afternoon.
The BC Auditor General sending a message. The province's plan on tackling the toxic drug crisis needs fixing.
We found significant deficiencies in the province-wide implementation of these programs.
The 2-year audit putting overdose prevention sites, supervised consumption services, and the Safer Supply program under a microscope, exposing several flaws.
These challenges and barriers include municipal opposition, challenges hiring and retaining healthcare providers, or limited access in rural and remote communities, or limited options that may be available to clients.
The report coming as public tension has risen in recent months, involving sites across Metro Vancouver, the Premier accepting the audit in stride.
It's important to note he's not saying stop the program. He's not saying the program doesn't work. He says he wants more of it in every part of the province.
Between 4,000 and 5,000 people use the province's Safer Supply drugs. That information is public. But the audit found overall there's a lack of data shared publicly by the province on how the program is working, including the issue of diversion. That's when users take drugs from Safer Supply sites and sell them on the streets.
Transparency to the public, to ensure the public understands what is happening with this program, it's paramount. And I really think it's a failure of this government to be sitting on this type of information, to be sitting on data and not releasing it.
The audit also finding Safer Supply isn't potent enough for many users, steering some to the streets, but don't expect the province to provide stronger drugs anytime soon.
One of the concerns that's been raised by some advocates is that there are drugs that people are using in the street that are quite toxic, and that we should provide some of these drugs through the Prescribed Alternatives Program, drugs like crystal meth, cocaine, crack, and other drugs. We are not going to do that.
At least 14,000 people have died from toxic drugs since BC declared a health emergency in 2016. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
Turning to tonight's weather, the north coast will have only clear skies at a low of 1 degree. The Terrace-Kitimat area is said to have clear skies too, but their low will be at -1 degree, and the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District will instead see a few clouds at a low down at -11 degrees. On the north coast, the week for them should see sun for a while before flurries and/or rain showers set in, and the high will go between 12 and 7 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, their week should also be sunny for a while, but then also move to more rainy days and a high bouncing between 10 and 6 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, the upcoming week is expected to move between partly cloudy and sunny days, as well as straight up sunny days, with the high moving from 5 to 6 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions. And as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, there is slippery sections, utility work, bridge maintenance, roadside brushing, compact snow, mowing, and pavement patching, plus the Usk Ferry is out of service and the cable car is in effect. On Highway 37, it has some slippery sections too, while also having water pooling, compact snow, and frost heaves. 37A has bridge maintenance and roadside brushing, some more roadside brushing on the Nishka Highway too, and the Telegraph Creek Road has slippery sections of its own. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, a Surrey business got an ominous and violent message. Welcome back. Despite criticism for its handling of the toxic drug crisis, the NDP is still firmly #1 in public opinion polls in BC, and the latest survey confirmed their lead. It's currently a race for who is second and third that raises questions about what would it take to unseat the New Democrats. CTV's Rob Buffum has the story.
7 months away from voters deciding who has power here, the latest opinion poll suggests the BC NDP continue to hold a strong lead. 43% of those surveyed by Angus Reid intending to vote NDP, while the BC United and BC Conservatives remain tied for second, with the Greens in fourth.
The same poll does hold a glimmer of hope for the opposition. 51% of those surveyed say they think it's time for a change in government.
Where that change lies and what it means, however, is something very different, because only 22% respectively choose either BC United or the BC Conservatives.
And with Kevin Falcon's BC United and John Rustad's BC Conservatives seemingly both in a dead heat, pundits say vote splitting on the right of centre is a real issue. And failing a major collapse by the NDP, October's election could be an NDP romp.
What one of the opposition parties has to hope for is a catastrophic collapse of the other center-right party.
It once again raises the issue of a merger between the two parties, something 32% of those canvassed in a Research Co poll supported as recently as January, as did more than half of those who voted for the party now called BC United.
About a third of British Columbians who would welcome the idea of a unified center-right party encompassing BC United and the BC Conservatives. And the group that wants this the most is the BC Liberal voter from 2020.
I think it's a good idea. I would be supportive of that.
Rustad says his party approached BC United last month, but the response didn't sit well.
We put together, once again, a team of people that reached out, and what we got back was, we're interested in having a conversation, but Kevin Falcon will be dictating the terms.
And there's clearly bad blood between the two camps. Last week, Falcon shrugged off the Conservatives as a non-threat.
Don't pay much attention to what they do. You know, they're a fringe party. They've been around for a long time.
Another problem, time is running out, and both parties have more than 40 candidates announced, creating a logistical problem if they were to try merging.
I don't see BC United sort of forgoing any of their MLAs or having them run under a Conservative banner.
But 7 months from Election Day, you can bet the political machinations will kick into highest gear soon.
It appears someone was sending a rather ominous message to a business in Surrey recently as gunfire erupted at a strip mall, with the shooter firing all of the bullets at a jewelry store. The violence was captured on surveillance video. CTV's Michelle Bernard has the latest, and a warning, some of the audio may be disturbing to some.
Surveillance video shows a vehicle slowly pull up in front of ACC Jewelers, and then someone opens fire. It happened just before 3 Monday morning.
So at the time, there was nobody at the business and there were no injuries reported.
13 bullet holes can be seen in the front of the Newton business.
I don't think so. We feel safe these days.
I feel scared and unsafe over here. This is not good. This is not what Canada used to be.
There have been about a dozen incidents of shots fired in Surrey this year, including the terrifying robbery of another Surrey jewelry store in February. RCMP say the gunfire this week isn't believed connected to a multi-province extortion plot targeting South Asian business owners. Those crimes have included everything from an arson in Edmonton to shootings in Ontario. BC's Premier says various policing agencies are working together.
Once you go down the road of businesses being asked to pay protection money, this kind of thing, it is very hard to get out of it.
Meanwhile, business owners say ACC Jewelers is not the first store in the area hit by gunfire recently.
It demotivates us from expanding our business because you don't want to hit the category where you can become the potential target.
We gotta have less customers, right? If people are hurting, like there are a lot of people coming in and shooting just randomly, of course the people are gonna be scared off.
Some business owners and workers here are calling for more security and a greater police presence in this area. They're worried about what shootings like the one that happened in behind us will do for their bottom line.
We've spoken to over 100 businesses over the past several months, which have included speaking to them about their safety and security concerns.
Police also say violent incidents in Surrey have been on the decline.
Our statistics for our shots fired incidents are actually down 31% in 2023 from what they were in 2022.
But that does little to ease the fears of a worried public. Michelle Brunero, CTV News, Surrey.
Parks Canada is extending the closure to all bodies of water in both Kootenay and Yoho National Parks in an attempt to slow the spread of invasive species. The lakes, creeks, and tributaries in eastern British Columbia will be closed until at least March of next year in response to the deadly whirling disease parasite found in some fish. Jeanette Goulet with the Aquatic Invasive Species Program for Mountain National Parks says that the extension gives parks officials time to gather more information before they decide what to do next. Anyone who is found breaking those rules in the parks could face a fine of up to $25,000. And now we turn our attention to the stock markets. The Canadian dollar is up 0.12 cents. The price of gold is up $1.30. Oil is down $1.46. Natural gas is down 3 cents. Aluminum is down $8. In Toronto, the TSX is up 185.13 points. The Venture Index is up 6.60. In New York, the Dow Jones is up 401.37, and NASDAQ is up 202.62. Still ahead is a look at the odd controversy regarding Kate Middleton and the royal family. Welcome back. New video shows the Princess of Wales out for a weekend shopping trip with her husband William, and it comes during intense speculation over her health and her recent withdrawal from official engagements. Laura Aguirre has more on why the royal family is facing a new and rather odd controversy.
A Saturday stroll through a farmer's market near Kensington Palace, and a sighting of Princess Catherine of Wales that many royal watchers have been waiting for months.
We last saw her on Christmas Day, then she went into hospital, then it was just radio silence, and into that vacuum rushed all of these conspiracy theories.
Rumors of Princess Kate's health have been swirling for weeks following her abdominal surgery in January. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks before returning home to continue her recovery out of the public eye.
I do think they were expecting and hoping that people might see them, might take a photo of Kate looking great, looking healthy, walking.
The weekend outing comes on the heels of a damaging photo release showing Kate and her children on UK Mother's Day, meant to show fans she was doing well.
but all the photoshopping, it caused more chaos.
Accusations of digital manipulation by the royals caused many reputable media outlets to pull the image, with some saying that pictures from Kensington Palace were no longer trustworthy. Tuesday, this photo of the late Queen with her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, taken by Kate, was found by CNN to have over a dozen signs of digital alteration.
It's been a PR disaster.
A PR disaster that may have sparked this sudden public sighting of the royal couple.
They don't have to tell us everything. What they do tell us should be trustworthy, so they have a long way to go to get this trust back.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Recent figures from Environment Canada showed that 38 weather stations recorded their hottest March 17th on record, with many either hitting or surpassing 20 degrees Celsius. It was 23.2 degrees in Merritt, 22.2 degrees in Squamish, and 22.8 degrees in the Quesnel area, and 20.9 degrees in the community of Dawson Creek. The record 19.7 degrees in Fort St. John surpassed the previous high set back in 1910 by almost 7 degrees. A dust advisory remains in effect for the Burns Lake area, where high concentrations of coarse particulate matter are expected to continue until there's precipitation, dust suppression, or some change in traffic patterns. Kelowna RCMP are warning people to be on the lookout for a group of fraudsters who pretend to have disabilities and collect money for an alleged charity. Police say that they were alerted on Sunday by a witness who was approached by two women with clipboards claiming to be deaf and asking for money, but who were later seen communicating seemingly without a disability. Police say they received another report on Monday involving two men and two women in the Vernon area claiming to have disabilities and trying to collect money for, again, an alleged charity. Police say that these four individuals are believed to be the same suspects who committed identical offenses in Banff, Alberta earlier in the month. That is all of our news for now. From all of us here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin, and thanks for watching. We will see you next time.